Morning. I'm Ron Herrera, President of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor. Welcome to the 5th Annual MLK Luncheon. It is a time when we recognize the sacrifice of Dr. Martin Luther King. We also recognize labor and community leaders who have gone above and beyond the call of duty in creating the beloved community that Dr. King lived for. During this time of warring in America, we need a beloved and united community with a commitment to justice. Welcome to this event and congratulations to our awardees. Thank you very much y muchas gracias.
We've suffered too much, and I think the greatest thing that a person can have is integrity.
When we think about nonviolence, we think about how do we create a more just, humane, and peaceful world society. And that goes beyond whether or not I physically do something to you, hurt you. It goes with the way in which I think, the way in which I feel, the way in which I speak, and then the way in which I act.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 Southern Christian Leadership Conference of Southern California Awards Luncheon. We first fell in love with her as Eleanor Emerson on the 90s sitcom Rock, where Ella Joyce played the wife of Charles Dutton's character, receiving numerous awards, citations, wonderful press reviews, testimonials, and standing accolades. Please welcome our Mysteries of Ceremony for the afternoon, Ella Joyce.
Well, good afternoon, and I'm so happy and so honored to be here with you this afternoon. As we enter into this moment, let's set the atmosphere with prayer. To offer our prayer on this day of sacrifice is Deacon Mike Nguyen, the president of the National Association of Black Social Workers of Los Angeles, a community activist and a member of the Social Action Committee of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Southern Cal. He is also a consistent mighty prayer warrior on the SCLC-SC prayer line.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Michael A. Nguyen, the chapter president of the Association of Black Social Workers of Greater Los Angeles, and I've been charged with providing the opening prayer. Today's theme is Day of Sacrifice. Day of Sacrifice. So with that said, let us bow. Oh, most gracious and loving Father, we thank you for waking us up this morning to see another day. Thank you for sacrificing your will and your power towards us as we walk on this earth in your reflected glory. Today, we give thanks to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for his ability to make sure that we could sacrifice in the most appropriate way as it relates to labor. His efforts in Memphis, Tennessee with the sanitation workers in 1968 proved and led and actualized our ability to do the same across this country. So lastly, we can all be great because we can serve and sacrifice at the same time. So within keeping of that theme, let us carry out through this day with the theme of sacrifice, brotherly love, sisterly love, and upliftment to all. Through Christ our Lord, amen, amen, and amen.
Thank you. We appreciate that prayer. And now, our beloved community has been the core of our existence here in America. From the church to our schools, from Black-owned businesses to Black-led organizations, working together with allies and advocates from other communities, has built a network that has endured the most difficult times. Today, this day of sacrifice, it is imperative to our existence that we honor Dr. King's life, as even in his death, Dr. King reminds us of the moral mandate to build and to live in the beloved community. We know Dr. King was prophetic in his teaching and knew there would come a time when embracing peace and justice of all humanity would mean the longevitous existence of all humanity. Before we go any further, we would like to stop and take pause for those who we have lost in our beloved community. Whether through COVID-19, unjust circumstances, hate crimes, illness, or natural causes, whose sacrifice has taken its toll daily on families, friends, and community. We are wounded yet again, over and over, and will continue to be wounded as long as violence is the only recourse and justice is not served. We have such a leader whose daily fight encourages all of us to live the life that Dr. King dreamed about. He has taken the mantle to build the beloved community as laid in the architectural blueprint set forth during the Civil Rights Movement. Our leader and our friend, President and CEO, Pastor William D. Smart Jr.
So this afternoon, we are going to honor 5 outstanding people who in their own way have worked to make sure the beloved community in Los Angeles is becoming a reality. And we want to challenge you all that from this day forward, that you will work to bring about that beloved community that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. so much talked about. God bless you and have a great afternoon.
Dr. King says of the beloved community, quote, "Love is creative and redemptive. Love builds up and unites. Hate tears down and destroys. The aftermath of the fight with fire method, which you suggest, is bitterness and chaos. The aftermath of love method is reconciliation and creation of the beloved community. Physical force can repress, restrain, coerce, destroy, but it cannot create or organize anything permanent. Only love can do that. Yes, love, which means understanding, creative, redemptive goodwill, even for one's enemies, is the solution to the race problem," end quote. Our youth and youth adults share the vision of the beloved community by fellowship from community to community, sharing culture and joy. The next speaker is from our SCLC-SC Young Dreamers for Justice. Please welcome Maria Gunther Lanati.
Hi, my name is Maria, and I am one of the members of the Young Dreamers for Justice. Based off the founding principles of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Young Dreamers for Justice is a growing organization comprised of young leaders coming from different backgrounds with different stories to tell. The Young Dreamers for Justice provides a safe space for the world's next generation of youth activists to gather and have discussions about current issues, as well as participate in various service experiences throughout the year. Members of the Young Dreamers organization consist of students from all over Los Angeles who each hold a special passion about changing the world to become a better place. Together, the Young Dreamers have participated in service experiences such as a turkey giveaway at Thanksgiving, a toy drive, a youth panel at the King Heschel Forum, and much more. We have discussed issues such as white supremacy, mental health and mindset, and even personal stories that members of the Young Dreamers have experienced or witnessed relating to these topics. One of the main goals of the Young Dreamers for Justice organization is to bring together children who otherwise may not cross each other's paths to help create a more beloved community. The Young Dreamers for Justice hope to showcase and work towards fostering a more beloved community by enlightening others in our own communities about the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We would like to participate in more service projects relating to issues such as homelessness, among others, that help those in need. We hope to grow our organization with more youth members committed to creating a space where everyone, no matter their race, economic status, gender, or identity, is able to succeed and thrive. Thank you for listening, and if you would like to join, we would love to welcome you as one of our next Young Dreamers.
At the core of beloved community is the arts that keep it vibrant and creatively sustained. One of the SCLC-SC most beautiful partnerships is with the Inner City Youth Orchestra under the direction of Charles Dickerson. Now for the moment we have all anticipated. Dr. King says of the beloved community, quote, "Today we are grateful to come together to galvanize around solutions, to acknowledge the issues, but to also organize around progressive and restorative change," end quote. Today, we honor those servant leaders who are committed to organizing around progressive and restorative change. It is now time to present to you on our day of sacrifice, our award honorees, those working to build beloved community. Our first award of the evening is Outstanding Labor and Community Leader Award. This award is given to someone who has shown exemplary service to improving the lives of workers and community members. To present this award, John Grant.
Good afternoon. My name is John Grant, president of UFCW Local 770. But more importantly, I'm Cheryl Butler's older brother by about 2 weeks. And I know this to be true because Cheryl told me that, and my mother told me that as well in one of her last public appearances. Cheryl is, in the words of the staff and those who know her, basically a superwoman. She embodies, on one hand, what Desmond Tutu told us, that families are God's gift to us, as she protects, shelters, and works tirelessly to support them. At the same time, she undertakes all of her multitude of tasks. She has been, given the racism that she grew up with in Louisiana and Xavier University that tried to deny her the pharmacyship, calling out white privilege and fighting anti-Black racism wherever it exists. Yet at the same time, she opens up her heart to those who are still sleeping, and while patiently listening to their harmful and hurtful renditions of what they believe racism to be, slowly wakes them up so that they have a greater understanding of what in fact plagues this country. She is loved by her workers. She is feared by employers who she does battle with, and respected by those government officials that have appointed her over and over again to the State Board of Pharmacy because of her integrity and her dedication to defending working men and women. It is my privilege and honor today to award and present the Martin Luther King Outstanding Labor and Community Leader Award to Ms. Cheryl Butler. Congratulations, Cheryl.
Lavonza Kercheryl Butler, who prefers to be called Cheryl Butler, considers it one of the greatest honors to be recognized by Southern Christian Leadership Council, SoCal. Cheryl serves as a member of the California State Bar of Pharmacy, where she was appointed by Governor Jerry Brown in 2013 and reappointed in 2017. When your union is working for its members on bargaining negotiations, better benefits, and safer work environments, Cheryl Butler has been on the front lines fighting for dignity and democracy for all its members.
Thank you, my brother John Grant, president of UFCW, for your kind words and for extending me the opportunity to serve with you. I thank Kathy Finn, our secretary-treasurer, my fellow union reps and staff, and the over 31,000 members of UFCW 770. I'd like to thank Dr. William Smart and SCLC for continuing the work started by Dr. Martin Luther King over 50 years ago. My parents instilled in me the King dream and the call to service at a young age. By God's grace, as a pharmacist and as a union rep, I've had to work, teach, learn, advocate, negotiate, and fight for our workers who are truly essential for over 40 years. When our workers are treated with dignity, fair wages, and respect, we all win. To my family and friends, I thank you for your love and support, and may God bless you.
MLK Service Award is given to someone who has worked in the community to spread and fight for the principles and the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. To present our next award is Pastor Q. Jen Marie.
Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Q from the Church Without Walls, Skid Row, also with Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice. It is a pleasure to be with you this evening. It brings joy to my heart to present the MLK Service Award to two brothers that exemplifies service every time they are called upon to support the community, whether it be a flatbed truck or whatever it is. They've always been there. They always show up, and they show up and stay there for the duration. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to present to Felipe and Martine the MLK Service Award. That is the 2021 MLK Service Award. It couldn't happen to two better brothers. One love.
Felipe Carasitas and Martin Mantesia have led SEIU Local 721 with strong and courageous leadership. Every worker deserves dignity, respect, and fair wages. We would be remiss not to mention that union members have been on the front lines of pandemic response since day one, keeping vital services running during one of the most challenging times in our history.
Thank you. And on behalf of Felipe Caceres and the 95,000 members of SEIU 721, we want to thank the SCLC for giving us the Martin Luther King Jr. Service Award. Our members are the backbone of public services in Southern California. It is an honor to work together with organizations such as the SCLC. Please enjoy your luncheon and have a good day.
The Marion Wright Edelman Award is given to a person who teaches and advocates for children of color, the disenfranchised, and the hard to reach. This person works passionately, contributing their skills, ideas, and expertise to help shape education reform. This person also provides educator and advocate-generated solutions that positively change the trajectory of student productivity. This award is presented by Pastor Thembekile Coleman Smart.
Greetings and peace and blessings. I am Pastor Thembekile Crystal Coleman Smart, and I am the Executive Director of the Women of SCLC-SC. And it is my great honor to present the Marion Wright Edelman Education and Child Advocacy Award to Kimberly Bolanile Paget. Being an educator in our beloved community is about far more than teaching a subject, grades, letters, numbers, but teaching is a true cultural art that has sustained our beloved community. Its structure goes back to the history of Timbuktu. And Miss Paget, as you are so compassionately called by your students, you indeed represent this ancient art of teaching, including Kwanzaa principles, Black history, and the laws of Maya to make sure that children know themselves along with becoming excellent scholars. You are always seeking and reaching and expanding ways to meet the need of the whole child. Today, the women of SCLC-SC, we honor you because of your clarion call for action and accountability with our youth and young adults. We thank you and we give thanks for your future in education. I know that big things are coming. Ashe and Asante Sana, congratulations.
A native of Atlanta, Georgia, now living on the West Coast, Kimberly Bolino Paget carries with her the rich Southern roots instilled from an early age by her parents, who cultivated a foundation of faith and the gift of music within her as a child. They presented her with a baby grand piano at the age of 9, becoming a drum major of her high school marching band at North Atlanta High School. This opened the door for a music and academic scholarship to attend the historically Black college, Clark Atlanta University. Kimberly Bolino Paget is presently changing her narrative centered around educating African American and Latino students, bridging the intersection between arts and academics.
Giving all glory to God. Thank you, Pastor Tambakile Smart. I am overjoyed and honored. To the SCLC, Pastor William D. Smart, and to all of the work that is being done, to the honorees on this day, I am so grateful to be a part of a group of illustrious leaders who are doing the work. Today, I dedicate this award to my parents, Larry and Bernice Paget, my first cheerleaders, and who assisted in my education and interest in the arts, which is what I bring to the classroom. To my grandmother, Annie Ruth Belt, who had a 3rd grade education, but traveled the world and helped to send her grandchildren to college. This is the legacy that our people come from, and I am so glad to be a part. There is much work to be done in closing the achievement gap for Black and Brown children, and daily I dedicate myself to this work. Thank you for this honor.
We want to thank our friends, advocates, and allies in the work of the SCLC-SC.
Hi, my name is Donna Parker, and I'm one of the chairs for the membership drive and membership development. I wanted to ask you a quick question. If you had the opportunity to be a part of something wonderful in our community, would you do it? I believe the answer is yes. Pastor Smart, Pastor Tambakile, thank you so much for allowing me this wonderful opportunity to share in community and community growth and development. I really believe in the work that you're doing, and I believe that you guys are amazing. You are truly setting this town on fire, and thank you for allowing me to serve with you. As I stated, I co-chair the membership drives and membership coordinator. As we go and we actually discuss wonderful matters, today I want to invite you to be a part of this wonderful organization. I want to invite you to be a part of building King's beloved community. It's so amazing and so incredible that we get to do this. And I always say, if you can't go, be a member, support SCLC, and watch us go. One of the most incredible things that I wanted to make mention of is as we're building King's beloved and wonderful community, we build it with reparation. We build it with restorative justice. Right now, we are going through this phase, and a horrible phase in the Asian community being attacked for no reason whatsoever, simply because their eyes are slanted. Well, guess what? We get to be a part of that. We get to have rallies. We get to stand against that and fight. This wonderful organization, SCLC, is incredible in that we get to really be a voice in the community. Not only are we a voice in the community, but we get to send the biggest voice of all, Pastor Smart. I ask you today to join. But before I go, I want to tell you this wonderful story that I was able to read. It was so incredible. It was a story about this young lady who worked for this huge company. She worked for this company for a number of years. Howbeit she did grow in the company. As she grew in the company, she noticed certain little innuendos and certain things, and she decided to address the matter. She realized that that matter was about racism, that she was being judged, and she was being racist attacks was toward her. She decided to go to the CEO of the company and her direct boss. As she did that, she noticed afterwards that there was hostility toward her. The hostility that was toward her was quite interesting because she couldn't do anything. So she decided to resign, and she decided to sue this particular company. As she sued the company, throughout the process, she waited a certain length of time and got absolutely no result. Her attorney, the company turned them off and said, no, I'm not going to have anything to do with you. And they didn't. She made a call to her SCLC office, and guess what happened? In a few months, the matter was settled, and she settled in her favor. That's the power of SCLC. That's our fight. Join today. Join SCLC. Become a part of this wonderful organization who we're trying right now to do amazing things. And we're in the community. And look at our calendar for April. It is awesome. I ask today, join, and I'll see you soon.
The MLK Community Justice Award is given to someone who has the fight and commitment to the values of community. To present this award is the president.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to present the Martin Luther King Justice Award to Councilman Curran Price. He has worked to ensure that the citizens of Los Angeles get vaccinated. He has sown justice in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King in his many years of service to people. For this, we say congratulations and thank you, our friend, Councilman Curran Price.
Curran D. Price Jr. was born and raised in the Los Angeles City Council district that he was elected to represent in 2013 and overwhelmingly reelected in 2017. In his role, Price is focused on building a more thriving future for local families, which includes economic growth and opportunity, increasing affordable housing, working to reduce homelessness, and defending the rights of immigrants.
Good afternoon, and I am privileged to be the recipient of this year's MLK Community Justice Award. I humbly accept. You know, on the City Council, our focus has always been to support those who are most vulnerable. During this pandemic, for example, Team Price has had boots on the ground. We have provided millions of masks, hand sanitizers. We supported drive-through food giveaways. We provided food to our seniors. And we are working hard to make sure that vaccination and testing is available at our local parks and easily accessible. We've also created policies and programs to support working class families and frontline workers who have put their lives on the line to serve us in our city. One example is the hazard pay emergency ordinance that I supported. It provides 26,000 grocery and drugstore workers with a $5 an hour bonus for the next 120 days. Most recently, we launched a $259 million emergency renters assistance program, again, to assist those families who are unable to pay rent because of the pandemic. But now I'm leading the charge to develop our $6 million guaranteed income pilot program. And we are very excited about this because we will be able to provide 500 single parents in CD9 with $1,000 a month for 1 year. As I said, this is a $6 million program, the largest in our country, and we think it will go a long way to showing what's possible when resources are available. Our District 9 community has been hit especially hard with COVID-19, and we must do all we can to assist them. I remain committed to these causes as well as other pressing issues like homelessness, like reimagining public safety, like making sure that we're addressing the social inequities and the equity problems that impact our community. In the words of Dr. King, and his words ring just as true today as they did during the 60s, if we're serious about making a real change within the social and economic justice, in his words, we must learn to live together as brothers, or we're going to perish together as fools. So again, thank you again for this recognition. Now let's get busy.
The President's Award is given at the discretion of the President. It is awarded to someone who has made tremendous contributions to the work on civil rights. Our presenter for this award is our very own President and CEO, Pastor William D. Smart, Jr.
It is my pleasure to present this afternoon the President's Award to Dr. Norman Copeland, someone who has worked in the field of civil rights, human rights, social rights, immigration rights for such a long time, someone that I love, someone that has always embraced and lifted me up and made sure I was getting it right. It is my honor now to present someone important in all of our lives, Dr. Norman Copeland, with the President's Award. Congratulations and thank you for your leadership for all of these years.
Reverend Norman Copeland has pastored and presided across the 5th Episcopal District in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. He's been God's architect in building, refurbishing, and renovating numerous churches. As his ministry has evolved, Reverend Copeland has distinguished himself as a minister with a pastor's heart. Reverend Norman Copeland has ministered to the spiritual, intellectual, physical, emotional, and environmental needs of all people.
I am honored to receive this President's Award from SCLC, a fighter for justice and equality. I am just blown back that they gave it to me and that it represents the constant fight that we've been in for a number of years in terms of having the equal justice for the community. Under the leadership of Dr. William Smart, he has given and shown that we must always stand for equality in our community. We live in a time where hate, fights, anger, it just overcomes our community. But we believe in family. We believe in equality. We believe in justice. And as long as SCLC has been working on the behalf of all minorities, it gives me quite joy to receive this honor from this organization. I thank Dr. William Smart for allowing me to be a part of this outstanding period in time to say a word for our community. Thank you, and I appreciate all that you're doing. I look forward to seeing you make transformations in our community and equality in our community. Walk by faith and not by sight. We will win the battle.
Thank you to all our presenters and illustrious honorees. We are excited now to have a keynote speaker who is a symbol of justice.
Judge Greg Mathis is the youngest person ever elected to be a judge in the state of Michigan, where he sat as a 36th District Court judge. His syndicated TV reality courtroom show, Judge Mathis, has been on the air for 22 years, and he is the longest television arbiter, second only to Judge Judy. Mathis has been the recipient of many awards and honors, a chairman of Rainbow Push Excel Board, a lifetime member of the NAACP, and a member of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference Board. Mathis and his wife and college sweetheart Linda have 4 children.
Let me begin by thanking Pastor Smart, the president, and the board members here in Los Angeles for all of your work and for having me as your guest speaker this afternoon. Let me also thank our mistress of ceremony, Sister Ella Joyce, someone who, unbeknownst to her perhaps, was closely associated with a gentleman from Detroit who helped to publicize my story by way of a book and a stage production, and that being Ron Milner, who was a protege of Langston Hughes. And so I thank you, Sister Joyce, for all your work and all your activism with the Black Action movement of the 60s and 70s, well, 70s and 80s, how about that, to create art that uplifts our people. And more importantly, or most importantly, let me thank the honorees for all your hard work in our community. And no doubt, our lives are all better because of your work. Finally, to the members of the SCLC, both locally and those who are here across the country or who are watching from across the country, I want to thank you for your continued fight of over 60 years of social justice and economic justice. And so it is that we are here today to continue that fight. You know, some of my most fulfilling years and time as a public official has been serving on the board previously of the SCLC. Also, as a board member of the NAACP in the past. And I am forever grateful. And I think people should know, those who don't, that after I have a little fun on the bench and entertain and try and give wisdom and insight and social commentary, when I get off that bench and take that robe off, I'm a fierce fighter for equal justice and social justice for our people. And it didn't just begin with television. Indeed, all of my adult life has been committed to civil rights and social justice. And so it is, I am very happy to serve today as your guest speaker for the conference. You know, let me begin by saying that our protest movement for police and criminal justice has shown that when we fight, we win. Indeed, when we fought for the abolition of slavery, we fought and we won. We then struggled and fought for the desegregation of America and its schools. We fought and we won. Later, we fought for voting rights. We won voting rights, and nearly 50 years later, we won the presidency. And so it is that when we fight, we win. And now, after the killing of George Floyd, our modern day Emmett Till, he has inspired a movement for social justice that we must capture the moment of. We must capture the moment to take our struggle to perhaps our final and continuous opportunity for equity. And that means the struggle for economic justice. We must join hands in that struggle for economic justice with our brothers in the trade unions. We thank God for the UAW, which I was a partner with as a political operative and a member of the Detroit political structure, city council, working for the mayor, and indeed my election in which they endorsed me in Detroit, as well as the SEIU, which is ahead of our times and has been in the fight for $15 minimum wage throughout the country. And so we continue to join hands with the Bill Lucy of the AFSCME, which I had the privilege of working with on the boards of the NAACP and the assistants to the SCLC. I think he's retired now, but it's the labor unions, which has been our partners. And we thank them for continuing to be a partner in the fight to reduce poverty in our community, perhaps the most lasting effect of the economic deprivation and indeed the effect of what amounts to the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. That transfer of wealth, of course, is the slave labor that indeed built the most prosperous economy in the history on the backs of our ancestors. So the economic deprivation and the slave labor has left nearly a quarter of our people still locked in poverty. And it is my belief that the dual passage of a $15 national minimum wage and of the legislation, House HR 40, the legislation for the study of reparation and the resulting payment for the multi-generation benefit of slave labor. So I want to thank everyone for your continued fight. You know, I worked many years with Congressman John Conyers, the late Congressman John Conyers, who spearheaded every year for 25 years the proposal for the legislation HR 40 bill, as I suggested or spoke of, and he was the original sponsor. And we know that that is a study for reparations. And the good news is we now have over 200 congresspersons who have supported HR 40 to be heard and establish a committee in Congress. And also now we have nearly half of our United States senators who are in support of the passage of HR 40. And of course, he pledged and he has now spoken after the election to support HR 40 when it arrives on his desk. And that would be the desk in the West Wing of the White House and the signature of our newly elected president, whom we played such a significant role in the election of. And so we think that we're getting close to both establishing the commission and the $15 minimum wage. You know, the legacy of slavery has continued to leave a racial wealth gap that is plaguing the United States and all of the communities of color within this country. And the need for some measures to address the Black-white gap is clear. Past research on the topic indicates that the current state of economic inequality across racial lines is indeed shocking. The Federal Reserve found that median Black household has 10 times less wealth than the median white household. Currently, Black Americans hold, African Americans hold less than 2% of the nation's wealth, despite being 13% of the US population. And several factors have contributed and continue to contribute even beyond the transatlantic slave trade, the biggest transfer of wealth. The disparities, most of all, are traced back, as we know, to that transatlantic devastating oppression that built this country. And since that century and a half ago, the descendants have faced unjust compensation and sharecropping, exclusion from owning property through discrimination, mortgage redlining, and employment, as we know, deprivation. And we must continue that fight. And so the fight for reparations and the cost and gains of reparations mean that everyone in the United States is a stakeholder. Reparation remains a moral issue, singularly centered on the experiences of African Americans. The United States cannot reconcile with such an ugly history of racial oppression and brutality without fully addressing it. The white descendants of slave owners like to say that slavery was so long ago, or I didn't have anything to do with slavery. But the key thing to understand is that the legacy of slavery created uncompensated wealth for white society as a whole. Immigrants with European heritage directly and indirectly benefited from this system of white supremacy. I'll say again, immigrants of European heritage came to the country with opportunity, and that opportunity was built on the backs of the slaves who built this country and were brought here not as immigrants, but by the force, by brute force of the killing and the ravaging of our African brothers. I'll say it again, immigrants with European heritage came to America. Unlike our descendants of Black slavery, where we were ravaged, our communities, attacked, and forced to come to America and endure slave labor, they're able historically to come for opportunity and benefit from our slave labor. And so the past is very much in the present. With the attention on reparations increasing in both the public and the political sphere, the question of compensation for slavery and more broadly, racial justice as a whole is here to stay until an answer is found. And so I say we must continue to fight, because when we fight, we win. Roll up your sleeves, fight and protest against police brutality. Roll up your sleeves, continue to fight against voter suppression that we're seeing is so prevalent. Roll up your sleeves and take our struggle to the next level for economic justice, because indeed it is poverty that keeps our people subjugated in communities that are deprived of economic opportunity and equal wages, $15, a livable wage. And we know that a livable wage will uplift a community and will uplift an education system, which is in many instances based on the property taxes being paid in that community. We know that it will bring peace to many of our neighborhoods that are plagued with crime, because indeed, crime is the protest of those who are oppressed. Remove the oppression and we remove the crime in our neighborhoods. So let us continue and to pray as we have, because it is prayer and struggle that has led us to the victories we've won. Thank you for having me, and may God continue to bless SCLC and all of our civil rights organizations that has brought us to where we are and has given opportunity to a young man such as myself who rose from the streets of Detroit, becoming the youngest judge. I am not confused. I know it is your hard work that has created that opportunity for me, and I will forever continue to repay and to let these other brothers and sisters that think they did it on their own, that think it was their suit, that think it's because they're cute, that it was because you all have fought and continue to fight for our equality and our upliftment. Thank you once again. May God bless you.
Dr. King shares, quote, "The aftermath of nonviolence is the creation of the beloved community, so that when the battle is over, a new relationship comes into being between the oppressed and the oppressor," end quote. Today, we witness our honorees whose work fosters new relationships and creates new opportunities for the oppressed to reimagine a beloved community where the dream of Dr. King becomes a manifest reality. Thank you for joining us on this day of sacrifice, and let us all do our part to build the beloved community.
The Southern California Leadership Conference, SC, would like to thank our Mistress of Ceremony, Ella Joyce, for leading us in this afternoon of coalescing and building our beloved community.
Well, you have seen such a wonderful program today. We want to thank our MC, Miss Ella Joyce, for such a wonderful job. Thank you so much. We want to thank Judge Mathis. Wow, that were inspiring words that you gave us this afternoon. I want to thank all of those who have made this program so wonderful. I want to thank Ann Fox. I want to thank Ross Jordan, and I want to thank Tina Stevens for doing such a beautiful job with the production. I want to thank Pastor Tambakile Smart and Kimberly Paget for doing such a beautiful job with the program. Everybody else, I want to thank our wonderful chief top sponsors, 721 SCIU and UFCW 770. Wow, this was tremendous. Now, the work begins. Remember, we are the beloved community. We must go forth now transforming the world. We must go forth making sure that this country becomes what Dr. King wanted it to be, a place where love will always persist over evil. So my sisters, my brothers, go with that greater readiness. Go with power. Go with love in your heart. Let us transform America. God bless you.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll see that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. you smile through your fear and sorrow. Smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll see that life is still worth